Okay, now can you guys see it?
Not from that link, but I don't have the actual link either from the email. I don't think I was on that email.
I can see it on my computer, but I'm in the upper right-hand corner, which is weird.
I just grabbed it. It's not, I don't think it's the same link. I just put it in the chat because you can grab it from the top where it says live on YouTube.
Okay, now can you
now
guys see it?
Yep, I see it on there.
Corner, which is weird.
Not from that link, but
I can see it on my computer, but I'm in the upper right-hand corner, which is weird.
Is someone
The DS kids,
the YouTube because it's confusing?
mine just says the live event will begin in a few moments. And I used the link from the email.
It says 4 watching now, 3 watching now.
Mine says 9 waiting.
I think we might have to send him the other link.
Mine says it's from 2014.
Yeah. The like RTMP one.
All right.
Alice Topic says she had to use the link from the April 22nd email.
What?
Alice says she had to use the link from the April 22nd email to make it work.
Okay, so yeah, can everyone like send out a text or something with the right
Yep.
here?
I can see it too. I opened it from the link that Amy sent.
Is someone
The DS kids.
the YouTube because it's confusing? I knew something would go wrong. I'm sending the right link out on the remind for the entire class. Okay, people are starting to come in. There's 15 people now, so. Hey, Holly,
Yes.
you have YouTube up, right?
I can't get it to work.
Who
I
has,
do. I do.
would you let me know when there's,
People are starting
a number of people in?
also.
Hey guys, if you are watching on YouTube, I had the wrong link that you got sent today via email. So we're just giving people a few minutes to get on and get the right link going. So if you can be patient another, couple minutes, it's nothing you haven't heard before this year. The technology is getting the best of us. How we doing on numbers?
26
Yeah.
watching now.
I show 26 watching now because it's working for me too to have it pulled up.
Yay. Well, we'll give people another, I don't know, what time is it? 7:05. We'll give people 2 minutes. Does that sound fair? Okay, 2 minutes.
And Deirdre, you just let me know when I'm on.
Okay,
I just
people are
need a
starting to
minute.
come in. I will. And I do think I think I'm recording this. Let me double check. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? All right. How we doing on numbers?
$30.
Should we go ahead and start?
It might not be as slick as the Golden Globes, but we've got something.
For a bunch of amateurs, I feel like you can teach old dogs new tricks.
Right.
It is better than last year, though.
It's better than September. All right. I am going to resume recording. All right, welcome everyone. This is a very strange way to have a senior celebration, and thank you for your patience with us as we navigate this technology. All of us old people, we would much prefer, and hopefully you would prefer, to be in person, eating cake, hugging each other, maybe kissing. I don't know. I might be a kisser after this year. Who knows? But unfortunately, we just have to, do what we can as we have all year. And as you can probably tell, all of us are coming to you from our homes. So you're going to probably see a cat walk through or hear a child in the background. So we apologize in advance. Or maybe that makes it seem like we're people. I don't know. So I just have a couple of words to say, and then we're going to move on. I have to tell you, every year, I think this is a very bittersweet night for the faculty, because we've known you for 3 or 4 years. And I'm going to try not to cry at the beginning here. And we are very sad to see you leave and to lose your presence in our everyday lives. Even this year, remotely, I have still felt a connection with so many of you, even those of you not in DSLA. And so and I think all of the faculty feel the same way, that it's very sad to see you all leave. But at the same time, the sweet part is that this is the goal you've been working for 12, 13 years. And we couldn't be prouder of the people you have become. I think back to when so many of you came in for your 8th grade interviews, and you were so scared and you were so nervous talking to these strange adults. And now I see you just young men and women that are confident and going out into the world. And I'm seriously going to start crying. Here's my tissue. So enough of the bitter part. Let's talk about the sweet part. I just have to say, and I'm sure everyone is going to reiterate this in their own words, but you guys have been total rock stars this year. You have weathered every change, every schedule the district could throw at you, every uncertainty, and you have weathered it with aplomb and grace. And despite all of it, we have a set of senior projects that are shining examples of what DS does. And so if you are at home, I hope there's someone there to pat you on the back right now or hug you, because you deserve every bit of praise. So with that, I'm going to turn it over. Heather Smith, our Distinguished Scholars Administrator, is going to say a few words. And then Angela Epps, our 21st Century Academies Coordinator, is going to say a few words. And then we have the illustrious Mr. Cave, DS Freshman Expedition Leader, to talk to you for a few minutes and take you back 4 years to that year. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Heather Smith.
Thank you, Ms. Zonker. Hi, guys. Like Deirdre said, I'm sorry, like Ms. Zonker said, I'm Heather Smith, the assistant principal that works with your 21st century programs and definitely DS. I am talking to you guys tonight on behalf of Mr. Herman and the administrative team. With the crazy weather we've been having, we've had numerous events that have been rescheduled, and Mr. Herman is at softball tonight. He had 3 back-to-back games that he needed to cover for us. So he wanted me to send my congratulations to you guys and let you know that we are so proud of you. I echo what Ms. Zonker said. This has been a very difficult year. We've all been through a lot. We have had some celebrations, but a lot of loss in a lot of ways. We've had some loved ones we've lost. We all have, kids and teachers alike. We have had loss of what would be our typical senior year. You guys also lost 4th quarter as juniors last year. So there's a lot that disrupted your high school experience, yet you managed to make it through. So I want to talk really for just a couple of seconds about that resilience part of our 4 R's that we have in our mission statement out of Olathe North. You guys embodied resilience. And here's what you can say in the future. You had that grit and resilience to get through 2020 and part of 2021. So whatever life throws at you now, you can always say, I'm a 2020, 2021 graduate that went through a lot that we never saw as adults. We've never seen anything that bad in our country. I have a sophomore at Olathe North, and she's never been through that. And it's been very rough to see our young people struggle through this. And we are so proud of you guys that you're here at the end. You have about a week left, and then we're going to see your shining faces on Saturday, the 15th, walk across that stage and be so proud of you. So I just wanted to echo that. What Ms. Zonker said, we wish we could be there and give you guys a hug right now, but we'll see you definitely at graduation, and we'll see you on the 13th with our senior stuff that we're doing. So congratulations, you guys, and enjoy tonight being recognized by your teachers. You deserve it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Smith, for joining us. And next up is Angela Epps, who is the 21st Century Academies Coordinator for Olathe District Schools.
Thank you. And I just want to say how proud Olathe Public Schools are of our 21st Century Academies. You know, they began back in 2003, and now we have 15 of them across our 5 high schools. Each one is unique and provides authentic and rigorous learning experiences for students. Distinguished Scholars is one of the academies that began early on in our district. So you have a long history with the academy model. The DS seniors here tonight have put forth enormous amount of effort and hard work over the last 4 years. And I'm sure the seniors and their parents find that to be an understatement. Not only did you have the typical sleepless nights of studying along the way, but you also had that pandemic to deal with your senior year, and you have persevered.
I must also recognize the DS teachers. These teachers always go above and beyond for their students that they love teaching every year, all year long. But this year was over the top. They spent countless hours and weekends and last summer preparing to teach the very best they could during this pandemic. And I would say that they succeeded as I witnessed some of those amazing senior products that were produced. They were absolutely amazing. I was so impressed. And since it's also Teacher Appreciation Week, please give them a round of applause, even though it's virtual and they can't see you. Give yourselves a round of applause. I absolutely love seeing all the awards and endorsement recognition going on these last weeks of school, but across our 15 academies. Tonight, these DS seniors are recognized for their endorsements and all their accomplishments along the way. So on behalf of myself and the district, congratulations and enjoy your celebration. You deserve it.
Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you for joining us.
And
So-
I'm going to put my picture on and still listen because I'm actually at another celebration. So I'm going to finish that one and then hop back on.
Excellent. I was about to say Angela is doing double duty because we double booked Academy celebrations. So she is at Olathe South joining Distinguished Scholars virtually. So our next person to speak to you guys tonight is the one and only Mr. K, the leader of the Freshman Expeditionary Force. And here he comes.
Well, thank you for inviting me here tonight. And I just want to reiterate what everyone else has said so far about the resilience and amazingness of this class of people. It's fun to remember you guys 4 years ago as freshmen, and then, you know, I don't see you as much. Some of you I see in other classes, but I don't see it, a lot of you, and, you know, just here and there, but just hearing what you guys are doing, what you've accomplished in these last 4 years, the things you've survived and lived through, I think will have taught you things that will carry you far. And I have no doubt that a lot of you are going to, you know, as cliche as it sounds, will change the world and make the world a better place. And we can't wait. I know all of us here can't wait to see all the amazing things that all of you do. So let me just say congratulations to all of you. And I didn't know exactly what to say to prepare for tonight. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but, you know, I know that a lot of one things that you do for seniors as they're moving into the next stage of their education and their lives is to give them advice. And I think if a lot of you seniors out there might remember that 4 years ago, we in the DS class, freshman DSFE, asked you guys to give advice to the current juniors of DS. And you guys took that assignment with aplomb and you made a video. And so in that video, you gave us 10 pieces of advice that we thought were pretty interesting. And I thought, you know, those pieces of advice that you gave those freshmen, I think would work really well for you now. And I also think it would just behoove all of us to remember where we came from. So I've included some screenshots from that video to show you this. So I'm going to share my screen with you and give you back the advice that you so willingly gave to the people that came for you. So I'm going to share my screen and present this to you guys, and hopefully you enjoy seeing this again. So here's the advice from the DS class of 2021 as presented by you. You guys wrote this advice, you wrote this video. Here's how the video started with our main presenters there presenting this video. If you guys want to see this video, I'll provide a link for you guys. But there were 10 pieces of advice that you gave to the incoming freshmen that you're going to give back to yourselves now. So the first one is to not procrastinate. Whatever you do in life, I know procrastination is so easy to fall into this trap, but make sure you don't procrastinate. You do the heavy lifting when you need to. You know, you don't want to stay up stalking classmates, you know, texts on a Sunday night. You want to make sure that you are not closed out of any labs or things like that. So please make sure that you do not procrastinate in your future. Number 2, find a friend, especially if they're wearing a cultural fair shirt, then you know they're a good person. So find a friend to talk to. Stay away from people that might bully you in the hallways and make you cry in a corner. You know, make sure that you are finding friends wherever you go in life. Number 3 is make sure you drink water. I think this was made sure, you know, we want to make sure that we are drinking enough water, that we are staying healthy, especially if we are giving presentations and things like that. You can see our old friend Keegan Fisher there with a couple gallons of water. Poor Amrith did not drink his water, he is down for the count. Good old Dr. Lim is there to help instruct us to make sure that we are drinking water. And then, of course, make sure that you are thinking outside the box at all times, especially, as freshmen into where you are going into. You'll be starting at the bottom again, so show your creativity. Think outside the box. Make sure you are doing what you can to earn those grades that you would like to earn. Next is to get involved. You always want to be involved into where you are. You never know the changes that will come over you as you go through these next 4 years or however long you're in this next process of your life. But make sure you get involved. Just be involved as much as you can. Again, this is the advice that you gave yourself to be successful. So make sure that you are getting involved. Also, make sure you get sleep. You want to get sleep so that you can make that bank and do what you want to do with your life. Make sure you get enough sleep and stay healthy. The next piece of advice you gave yourself was to not sweat the small stuff, to make sure that you are enjoying life, smiling as life comes at you, and taking advice from your friends. Next is to be positive. You never know when you will need a smiling face. You'll need a friend to come around and to help you. So make sure that you are always positive, thinking of things that could be good for you, and being careful of teachers that might take screenshots that make you maybe not appear so handsome, but anyway, always be positive no matter what's happening with yourself. And of course, remember, kindness is cool. We always are being cool to be kind. And then number 10 is manage that mental health. Make sure you stay away from the stressed people that come at you with chainsaws, and make sure that you are living your life the way you want to live it, whether that's right side up or upside down, however you want to live your life. So that was your advice that you gave to yourself. So congratulations to all of you. I'm so proud of you guys. It's amazing what you've accomplished in these 4 years, and we know they are just going to do more. So congratulations from me. I hope you guys have a wonderful, we'll see you at graduation, and have a great summer and a great rest of your academic career or whatever you're going into. So thanks so much for having me here tonight. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate all of you.
I always forget to unmute myself. Wouldn't be right. Before we go on to language arts, the next thing, if you have not already done it, is grab that box that you picked up and open it up. We wanted to give you guys just a little bit of some of the traditions that we have at Olathe North and DS as best we could, even though it's virtual, even though it's not as much as we usually would. So we put these boxes together to help you celebrate tonight. And as you open the box, the first thing you're going to see is a copy of the program. The next thing that you're going to see is your certificate that shows your endorsement level. Yeah, am I not supposed to be? Anyway, yeah, so the next thing that you're going to see is your certificate and a certificate holder that that shows that you have completed Distinguished Scholars with the level of endorsement that you've earned. If you endorsed in the Distinguished Scholars, you will have your cords there that you can wear with your gown to show that you endorsed in the Academy. And then, of course, there is the one and only Distinguished Scholars blanket. And for any friends and family that are watching, the usual blanketing ceremony is an end-of-year picnic where our seniors run between all of the underclassmen as they blow bubbles at them. And then at the end, they get their blanket wrapped around them. Oh, look, Miss Rice is demonstrating. You can't see her, but she's demonstrating. You get your blanket wrapped around you by your content area teacher. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that this year. So in the box, there are some little tiny bottles of bubbles, and that is for your family. So when your name is read and everything, we ask your family members to blow some bubbles over you and to wrap you in your blanket. There's also a couple cookies in there for you. And what else? There's some fun lights to decorate behind you. And there's some noise makers so that for your family to make some noise for when we talk about you. All right, with that, we are going to go on. The next part of our program is each content area will speak. We speak about each of our students, just a few words, and talk about where you've been and where you're going. And we go alphabetically, so I always have to start. So for language arts, we will start. My first student in language arts that I'm going to speak about is Maddie Fisher. When I think about Maddie Fisher, her freshman year, I spent a lot of time during Eagle halftime in the library with the Writing Center. And I kept seeing her there bringing armloads of books. Oh, maybe that was sophomore year, armloads of books, like every single day, a new armload. And I started wondering, has that girl read every book in the Olathe North Library? And every year, she's just one of those people who has this passion for young adult literature, both the publishing of it, the reviewing of it, the writing of it, everything. And I have never seen someone as voracious as Maddie is with a book. And that showed in her senior project, where she combined two of her passions, her passion for dance and her passion for young adult literature, and respun the story of the Nutcracker ballet into a young adult novel. Maddie, baby Maddie, is going to the University of Northern Iowa to study interactive digital studies with a creative writing and literary publishing emphasis to continue with her passion for young adult literature. And her favorite DS memory is all the field trips. So if you are in Maddie's house, please give her a round of applause, give her a big hug, since I can't. She's wonderful. Sorry, I've got my tissues. All right, my next DSLA senior is Bailey Flanagan. Whenever I think of Bailey, I think it was halfway through junior year, she came to me with a confession that she had discovered a passion for chemistry, and she asked if she could transfer to science. But unfortunately, they had, it's kind of a progressive or a continuum, and they felt that she'd be, kind of too behind where the other students were. And so she didn't get to transfer. But, she says she has this passion for chemistry, but every time she writes a sentence and every time she opens her mouth, what I hear is a writer. She has the most wonderful way with words, and I hope that she continues to practice that passion. And it's kind of funny because that's what she did with her senior capstone. She wrote a narrative textbook of everyday science for teens because she wanted to write a textbook where middle school, younger high school kids would learn about the science of each part of their day to get them hooked into science. So I really do hope that she continues with that passion as well. Here is little Bailey, and she is headed off to Lehigh University, and she couldn't decide if she is going to study chemical or environmental engineering, so I just put them both because I wouldn't put it past her. And here is Bailey's favorite DS memory, and this broke my heart. Either the end of year picnic, which we don't get to have for her as a senior, or meeting some of my best friends. So could everyone please give a virtual round of applause for Bailey? All right. My next language arts senior is Mia Indolo. Mia, I remember her coming in as an 8th grader to interview And she just struck me as the most timid, shy, nervous student that would ever walk through those doors for an interview. And although she remains fairly quiet, what I have learned about her over the years is that she is a very strong and outspoken young lady whose quiet is, I was going to say deceitful, but that sounds not quite right. She is just an amazing young woman, and don't let her outside fool you for a moment. For her senior project, she wrote an entire novel, 85,000 words, called Look for the Stars. And she plans to pursue getting that published after high school. She is going to be heading to the University of Arkansas, and she is going to study law, which if you know her, yeah, I know. Mr. Williams is over here pumping his fist. Y'all can't see him, but I can. And then her favorite quote, "And when all the wars are over, a butterfly will still be beautiful," by Ruskin Bond. Lovely. So everyone give Miss Mia a round of applause. All right. My next senior is Lily Long. And I originally thought that I was going to do a metaphor for each of my seniors, but I decided my creativity is run dry. But my metaphor for her was an anchor. And the reason is because if you've ever gotten into a discussion with Lily, she will stand her ground and just be solid. Yet she's not immovable because she does listen to both sides. And if you have any notion of and when you find out what she's going to study, you'll understand how perfect she has chosen her future field. She does get this year's award in language arts for the strangest senior capstone idea. She wrote a fictional journal of a ghost hunter who was fictional. Let that sink in. So Lily is headed to the University of Kansas, and she's going into pre-law. Yeah, perfect for her. And her favorite DS memory is the DSLA field trip when we went to a KU library where we did bookbinding, which was pretty fantastic. So virtual applause for Lily. Give her that blanket, blow some bubbles. All right. My next senior is Sam Shaper, or the dude. Poor Sam has been the only fella in DS language arts for the entire 3 years he's been in language arts. And anyone who knows Sam knows that you can always count on him for some witty comeback. And he has weathered the teasing and the girl talk with aplomb, with humor, with grace, even participating. He has been a champion at being the dude for DSLA. For his senior project, he wrote an homage to Kurt Vonnegut, where he interviewed 21 dead people, including Vonnegut himself, and ended up with about 13,000 words in a fictional piece modeled after something Vonnegut himself wrote. Sam is headed to the University of Kansas, and he is going to major in English, yay, and pre-med. So that's a very interesting combination. But if anyone can do it, Sam certainly can. And Sam's favorite quote, and I wondered if this was about high school, but he said it was just in general, "If you're going through hell, keep going," Winston Churchill. So congratulations to Sam. All right. Next up is Kaylee Schlink. So for the first 2 years of Distinguished Scholars Language Arts, Kaylee always had this kind of feeling that I always felt she questioned whether she belonged in DSLA. And this year with her senior project, she blossomed and became a writer. Her project is called Something New, and nothing could be truer. Aside from the work she did, she found this confidence. I swear she's taller now. And I hope that she takes that confidence and goes out into the world and kills it. Her senior project was writing a series of intertwined stories using various plot devices and points of view. It had a schematic that would rival any kind of engineering diagram I've ever seen. Here's Kaylee. She is going to the University of Kansas to study nursing, which, if you know her, will be perfect because she's a very caring, sweet person. And she's rooming with Lily Long, I believe. And Kaylee's favorite DS memory was seeing A Christmas Carol during her sophomore year. Yay, Kaylee. All right, my next senior is Neha Sridhar. If you know Nehar, you know that every time I think of her, I think of the phrase "still waters run deep." Neha is still, yet under that surface, there is depth, there is passion, there is drive that you have no idea is there when you first meet her, but then, man, does it come out. She this year has designed, marketed, published her own literary magazine, also taking a heavy load of courses and being an editor for Elementia, which is another magazine through the Johnson County Library. She's kind of a force of nature and to be reckoned with. Here is little Neha, and that is the most adorable picture ever. She is, I have to tell you, 3 years ago, she told me she was going to go into neurosurgery, and now she is going to University of Kansas to study linguistics, which kind of warms my heart. And here is Neha now. Her favorite DS memory is going to the River Market and the World War I Museum. It's one of my favorites too. Congratulations to Neha. All right, and our last language arts senior is Trinity Umanya. What do you say about Trinity? She published for her senior project a collection of 38 poems that are modeled on, that are different poetic forms that she studied. And I started thinking about how appropriate that project was for her, because Trinity is very much like a poem herself. It's small, it looks sweet on the surface, but then it has this huge punch to it. If you know Trinity, she's this petite little thing, but she has this huge personality that fills the room. She is dramatic and exuberant, and she just, brings life to everything she does. Trinity is going to be heading off to the College of William and Mary to study chemistry, but I'm still hoping she continues to write and act and all those things. And I'm just going to give you fair warning. We contacted Lady Gaga, who sent us a quote about Trinity, and this sums it all up. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before. And that is Trinity Umanya. Congratulations to Trinity. Much love. All right, guys, that is the end of Distinguished Scholars Language Arts. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Terry Link for Distinguished Scholars Math. Incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before. And that is Trinity Umanya. Congratulations to Trinity. Much love. All right, guys, that is the end of Distinguished Scholars Language Arts. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Terry Link for Distinguished Scholars Math.
Hello, everybody. I'm getting some feedback, so I'm not sure when I should have started talking, but I'm going to talk now. And I'm going to start with my first senior, Elliot Fife. When Elliot came to DS Math as a sophomore, he was a bit of chaos and randomness brought with him to class every day. There was a time when bouncy balls and wheelie shoes were an everyday occurrence, which is not something I can say about many other students that I've had the pleasure of working with in the course of Distinguished Scholars. I would like to say that he has outgrown that stuff, but I'm not really sure because I haven't been around him in person for about 15 months. So I have hopes that maybe some of that has at least been pushed off to the side. I would say that randomness found its way into his senior project. Elliot chose to take a computer program and to try to teach it how to create musical melodies and harmonies from random starting positions. And he was successful at it. He programmed in Python and was able to produce some really wonderful sounding things. So it was an amazing project that he was able to accomplish all on his own. He is headed to Lehigh University to study some sort of engineering. At the moment, it is still open, but engineering of some form, perhaps computer, perhaps electrical. We weren't sure. And his favorite DS memory was the 2018 picnic. Not sure if that's the last one we all got to have together, but it certainly was his favorite. So a big round of applause for Elliot, and congratulations to him, and good luck going forward on to Lehigh. Next was Alexis Ung, a stalwart of Distinguished Scholars Math. As I will go on to talk about another one of our seniors, between Elliot and Ari to come, there was a lot going on in the room when those gentlemen were together, and Alexis was able to weather all of the craziness that was going on around her and do great things on her own. From the very beginning, when I met Alexis, she was always interested in computer programming, in coding, and she has continued to have that be part of the foundation of what she is interested in through her high school career here at Olathe North. She is a member of the TSA group. She has won several state level awards, both for web design and for coding whenever they have their competitions. And she took that love for coding and that desire to learn how to do that, and she worked that into her senior project. She did sort of a pseudo experiment where she built up computer models to evaluate stock price movement. She used two different kinds of simulation, both a Monte Carlo simulation and game theory, to kind of compare the output of stock purchase and to determine whether these models could help her earn money or lose money over the course of a time. So she is well aware that nobody can actually predict the stock market, but if anybody could, I imagine it would be her a little further on down the road. She is headed next year to the University of Kansas to study computer science. And her favorite memory is playing Monopoly on finals day. So don't go telling any of the underclassmen that that's what we do on DS finals day in mathematics, or any of the administrators that are still on the call, that we play Monopoly and card games and things like that. So that is Alexis. Everybody give a big round of applause for Alexis. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And the last member of Distinguished Scholars Math for this year is Ari Shrivastava. What are we going to say about Ari? He is a hidden talent. When he came in, he was always joking and being a bit weird. And I say that knowing that he is in a group of kids that voluntarily choose to study math 4 or 5 days a week. That is a different group. But what Ari was able to show us is a definite talent and a drive for building things that he did throughout the course of his career here at North. He built sets for the Olathe North Theater through several productions. He would always come in ready to share or discuss and ask me if I knew what this was. And it was some sort of new tool that he had found or come across that he was using to build things. And his senior project also took that love for building, and he looked at the usefulness of building tiny homes to serve as a way to support homeless individuals, both in the Kansas City area and anywhere around, either homeless or folks that were maybe returning from service and didn't have financial abilities to buy full homes. So just a tremendous project in terms of its community outreach, which I think is one thing that sometimes we do in DS Math and not all the time, but I was really happy that he did. Ari is headed off to K-State University to study mechanical engineering. And I love that the picture is showing him building stuff along the way. And his favorite DS memory is finally getting a model to work during HIMCM. So building of a different kind. Everybody say congratulations to Ari, fantastic work. As the DS Math instructor, I'm always amazed by the different projects that my students are able to accomplish. And this group is no different. We have a wide variety of students with many, many different talents. And I know that they are all going to go on and be successful in their next steps at university. So that is my full contingent of DS Math. Sadly, I left my program at school today. So I am not sure who is going to take on the next job of presenting, but whomever that is going to be excited to talk about their students. So whomever that is, drum roll, please.
That would be me, Mr. Link. Sorry, I was trying to find my my mute button and unmute myself. So how many times have you guys heard that this year? Hey, can you guys hear me now? Everybody hear me? I mean, how many times have we heard that story this year? Oh my goodness. So good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Williams. I am the DSPS teacher. And this year in DSPS, we have 2, which is the smallest group we've had come through DSPS. But just because there's 2 doesn't mean they have a lot of passion in what they do. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first senior, and that's Genevieve Ponchel, who when Genevieve came into DSPS her sophomore year, I kind of felt like she thought this was DS TikTok and was going to, because that seemed to be her thing and her passion was, man, oh man, that phone. But I have seen someone over the last 3 years that has grown up considerably, and the confidence that I have I've heard that word a few times this year, which I think is interesting, or this evening, the confidence I've seen in her over the last couple of months has really grown, and I think that's a wonderful thing that we see happening with a lot of our young kids. And Genevieve decided, she struggled initially with figuring out where she was going to go with her senior project, and actually started down a path, and then came to me and said, I think I need to change this. And she completely revamped and started over again, which is really part of that research process. And a lot of times, and it can be frustrating, but I think she persevered through that and came up with a project in which she studied, the title was Crime on Women, in which she really wanted to focus on how can we educate young women in schools about some of the dangers that could be out there. So Genevieve has grown up a lot, and I'm so happy to see her pushing forward. Next year, Genevieve is going to be going to San Diego State University. So the guarantee is that the weather will be better for Genevieve than it will be for any of us, probably 98% of the time. And maybe 99. I'll have to talk to the math people about that one. And she is going to major in computer science, which does fit with her affinity for the TikTok. So maybe she will be the creator of the next app. Hopefully it's something DS related or PS related, but that's pretty cool. And her favorite memory of DS was our field trip to Steamboat Arabia, And that was a pretty cool time. So that was awesome. So everybody, a round of applause for Johnny. We appreciate having her around. And then my second and last senior is Cushy Parsai. And Cushy, if you know Cushy in any way, shape, or form, I don't know that I've ever met anyone who was so utterly concerned about everybody else. And I mean that in the best sort of way. She had this intuition that when somebody was hurting, or maybe not feeling comfortable, or maybe not feeling accepted, that she immediately picked up on that and helped that person, which was a unique, number one, it's a unique talent that I wish more people would have. But number two, to have it in somebody so young that could just see this and then act on it and do something to make that person feel better, is a pretty amazing attribute for anybody to have. So it did not shock me that when she came to me actually last year and she wanted to talk about this as the whole pandemic broke out and we were not in school, she would periodically email me and say, well, I want to talk to you about my senior project. And I go, you're still a junior. We're not going to talk about that quite yet. But she was so adamant. And she really wanted to study empathy and try and figure out, can you quantify empathy and see if we can measure it and what kind of people have more empathy, which to me fits so well with what she could really see, because she empathized so well with so many people throughout her high school career. And so that really became her senior project, was trying to find the characteristics and what kind of people would be more empathetic, and then developing an empathy test. Well, not developing, but using an empathy test to see if some of her predictions were correct. So it was an amazing look at something. And it just shows you that if you have a passion, you can make that into your project and see where you want to take this. So if you see there, the last time I talked with her, we were down to 3 schools. Now, if you've ever talked to Cushy, you know that she looks at every decision she makes. She looks at it from 12 different ways and might narrow it down to 3. And then eventually, after having maybe a conversation, a couple of surveys, reflection time, might narrow it down to 2. So I'm hoping that maybe I can find out in the next couple of days where she actually is going to go. But wherever she chooses, she's going to do fine. And she does want to major in something along the line of either international relations, international business, something in that field, which fits her perfectly. And she said her favorite memory, and Mr. K will have to talk to you about what this entailed, the end of the year DSFE party. I don't know what that was about, but it must sound pretty fun. So with that, a round of applause for Cushy. And I will tell you that I might win the award for having the shortest amount of time here, which not usually happen very often, because I'm usually the long talker. So if you look in our program, our next person is, I'm assuming it's Ms. Rice, who is going to do DS Science.
Well, hi, everybody. Greetings. Let me get my share going correctly. 1 second here. There we go, I think. All right, so this is a really hard night for me. This is a really hard night. Not only with my DS seniors, but with the rest of you guys. I mean, oh my God, most of you, and I know I put on the YouTube thing, I made a comment about Elliot with the bouncy ball and the wheelies. He was coming through my room during halftime and eating lunch in there with the bouncy ball and the wheelies. Bouncy ball doesn't work when there's that much glass in a lab. So it perpetually made me nervous. But I had last year was a tremendously wonderful year. It was tremendously wonderful right up to the crash. You guys were amazing in my AP class, And this DS class was so darn funny. And so one of the things, you know, you can look in the program and we can see the kids as senior projects, but that is not what I will remember about this class. All of you guys and my DS Science kids, our DS Science room was ridiculous before this happened. This was the biggest group of kids I've ever had. Everybody had an opinion, except I had two people that were maybe a little more soft-spoken. Didn't mean they didn't have an opinion, but dear Lord, that my room was crazy. The scooter was out all the time. We had ridiculous labs going on. Everybody had an opinion. Wade would just walk over tables. Safa, we had to rely on her oftentimes to handle little things in the background. And I mean, just such big personalities. And man, I remember telling everybody last year when we were finishing AP online, and I said, I know we can do this because you guys know me, but what if we're still doing this next year and we got to start from scratch? And I miss you guys. I miss all of you guys. So for our kids, we're going to go almost in alphabetical order. I had somebody not turn in their pictures, so they're going to go last. So other than that, we'll run through. And Safa is our first kid, and Safa was always kind of like 16 going on 27 in DS Science. And when we, a lot of the memories revolve around doing our last Battle of the Brains, and we picked Safa to be our announcer and one of the people that we would put out in front of the camera. And she's just kind of a wonderful representative for DS. In DS Science, we spend a lot of time talking about organic chemistry, and we used to, in the before, did a lot of things with pharmaceuticals, and Safa was very interested in working at a pharmacy, and always had really amazing questions. Here's little Safa. Is that not amazing? Look at that picture with that little happy birthday. She definitely has an opinion. Look at that. She's going to UMKC and she's going to study pre-pharmacy. I have no doubt it's going to be a pharmacist. And here she is now. Look at that. That little thing grew up into that. So there's Safa, and talking about the favorite DS memories. We used to have, lunches. We had food of your people lunches, and we had hilarious Secret Santas. And we got Olsen a piñata, and then he got to bust it open. It was awesome. So anyway, that was Safa's buddy. I am so gonna miss you. And then Safa's shoulder partner buddy in DS always was Wade. And Wade being involved, seriously involved in Stuco things. Wade has maybe the longest legs for body height of any kid I've ever had in class. He could walk up and just basically walk over a table, put his foot right on top of a table and walk right over. And it always completely cracked me up. Completely a creative individual. And just something that he did this year. At Christmas, they made a gingerbread house scale model that looked like their real house. So what do you do when you're, stuck at home and you're creative? That's what you do. So, and Wade was forever, I could count on Wade having the most obscure piece of information and knowing about something. I'd say, does anybody ever? And yes, Wade actually knew about some crazy thing. Told me about a way of cooking using something called a sous vide that his dad bought at the beginning of the pandemic. And I now own one. So thank you, Wade. Always really cool information. This picture cracks me up. Look at that. Yeah, that is not a happy little Wade right there. I would bet that screen could peel the paint off of a wall right there. But Wade is off to USC, in California, and he's going to have that super great weather as well. And he's doing either chemical engineering or quantitative biology. So absolutely a great future ahead of Wade. And there's Wade now. Look at him. Look, he looks like he should be going to law school. But his favorite DS memory was when we went just a few months before the pandemic started we took a trip for some inspiration for Battle of the Brains, and then we got to go back there for the awards ceremony. So a huge driver in our last submission for Battle of the Brains. So Wade, I am so gonna miss you. Round of applause for Wade. So put it in the comment line, and a round of applause for Safa. I didn't say that last time, but okay. Savi, oh my gosh. Savi could take more teasing and accolades from Tasman and the rest of the DS science people constantly. Every time we needed it was constantly, they wanted to make Savi be, on our t-shirts and have him be our role model. And he would just quietly sit there and take it and just continue to just be brilliant. And so it was always just amazing to have Savi's mom in the building and to have her stick her head in and check up on what we were doing in DS. And Savi always got everything done. And let me tell you, not all of these kids did when we were doing organic stuff. Look at this. He looks very pensive there. A very pensive Savi. He looks like he's, look at that hat. That's cracking me up. He's going to Vanderbilt University. Really good choice. Doing biological sciences. What kind of biology? He doesn't know. Just absolutely loves biology. And you know what? He's going to a good spot because Vanderbilt is where they developed the Moderna vaccine. So you got some good stuff going on there. Savi. And and there he is now. Look how distinguished he looks there. He looks very academic. His favorite DS memory was making meth. Well, the molecular structure and model of meth. So that was a typical thing in my room. We have all these molecular models, and the kids would constantly be putting together it with just the pop and the snap of these things constantly in my room. And Savi was a big model builder. So had a really interesting senior project too. So check out check out this thing. All right, next up, Keegan Fisher. Keegan Fisher is the #1 room 203 Razor scooter driver. I don't think he went a day without driving that scooter all around good old room 203. He could go faster one direction than the other. I think we need to figure out the physics of why. Keegan was one of the people that was in my room constantly. There was a group of these DS kids that after school, we walked out together every single day. And I knew that Keegan was going to be, he and I shared a lot of interest because there's this obscure, I guess it's not maybe obscure, but DVD set about how one change in technology changes another one and then changes another one and changes another one, called Connections, clear back in the late 70s and early 80s. And his family actually has the DVD set. And so Keegan has a wide range of making neat connections between things. Very much into physics and magnets, and he's going to Virginia Tech is where he's off to. And I wasn't that, when he put this in last time I talked to him, that wasn't a for sure. So that was a super, super happy thing to see. And he's going to do chemical engineering. And I remember the day, the open house, I remember Keegan coming in my room, and I remember the look on that kid's face. And I thought, that kid needs to apply. I remember his face from that open house. Apparently he does too. So he said his favorite DS memory is as an 8th grader during open house, knowing right then and there he needed to be part of DS science. So, and I remember very much First time I saw Keegan at a school board meeting last fall when they were talking about the schedule and going back in person and everything. And I just wanted to go hug him so bad. So Keegan, I'm going to miss you, man. I'm going to miss you. Round of applause for Keegan. There you go. There we go. All right, Arjun, he's our next up. Arjun, oh my dear Lord, part of the DS group that was constantly racing, academically competitive would be an understatement in every way. There was a group of these folks that we'd have a homework quiz and they would race to see who could get it done faster. And then they realized one day there was no benefit to being done and making a stupid error. But Arjun is somebody that I could always count on to always ask an amazing question. Amazing questions. Really good researcher, really great science mind, did tremendously well at the Greater Kansas City Science and Engineering Fair with his project. He got a special award from the Linda Hall Library. One of the people that, we'll talk about this. No, we'll get this with his memory. So check this out. I'm suspecting that maybe they're keeping him occupied on a flight to India. I am not sure, but there's Arjun. He's got his blankie right beside him. He's going to the University of California, Berkeley. One of my few kids that is going there as a freshman. He's going to do chemical biology, which is really a cool thing, a neat intersection. He had a super neat senior project that he worked on over the summer. Got into a really great program and it paid off for him, paid off big time. So Arjun's favorite memory. And by the way, look at that handsome young man there in his fancy clothes, a little bit better than, look at that thing right there. Okay. The time Austin and I got in a water fight using syringes in Rice Room after school. This was hilarious. I was not there. I walked in the next day and there was weird water stain marks, odd places in the room. Posters, not on my front table, nothing on the front table. Weird spots in the room. I thought, what the heck happened in here? I found one plastic syringe at the back of my room and I thought, he and Austin, while I was in a meeting, they had a water fight in here with syringes with barricades. Sure enough, I figured it out. That's exactly what they did. So that was one of the silliest things. And we had a lot of fun after school in my room, a lot of fun. All right, round of applause for Arjun. Way to go. Next up, we got Sarah Holscher. Oh my gosh, forever the actor and performing arts person, also just as strong as a science student and somebody that just would also always ask the greatest questions. Hey, Rice. And I absolutely loved having Holscher around. She is also my link crew person with my totally remote freshmen and can get them to actually be engaged, is somebody that really can connect with lots of different kinds of people. And I think that that's going to bode extremely well for her in the future. She had a really unique senior project. She was looking, her mother being in politics and social justice being an issue. She did a statistical analysis of who got pulled over in Wichita. So she had a really unique senior project. She's also going to the University of California, Berkeley, and she's going to do chemical engineering. Look at that little charming little face, with a minor in performing arts, which of course, that is a thing. She's been active in our theater department the whole time that she's been there. And her favorite Science City memory was going to Science City and doing Battle of the Brain ceremony with all of her friends. It was an extremely, extremely fun day. And Sarah, thank you for all the stuff that you've done and all the help you've given to North. And Wade, going back to Wade also, so for all of his service to Stuco. So round of applause for Sarah, and round of applause for Sarah's mother. So thank you very much for your service. Cushy Coley. One of only 2 people of my former students to win the Greater Kansas City Science Fair 2 years in a row. Cushy is an incredible individual. Decided she wanted to put together a science bee. Never was done before. Did this as a little sophomore. Did this as a junior. It was March 8th, right before the pandemic. Cushy is wise beyond her years and is absolutely brilliant. I know she wants to go into medicine. And I said, I would love to have you be my doctor, but the kind of medicine she wants to do, I don't want her to be my doctor. So anyway, Cushy, there is not a single thing that this kid could say that she wants to try to do that I would ever doubt. Not once. Look at that face. Cushy's mom, Clement and I were scheduled to go over to the Coley's house, and Cushy's mom was going to divulge the Indian secrets of cooking to 2 white ladies, and the pandemic stopped us from going over. But I had a wonderful afternoon last summer over at Cushy's house when they gave her her first award for winning the Greater Kansas City Science and Engineering Fair. And her mom said, we're going to have a big party when this is all over at the end of the year. And I said, heck yes. So she's off to Harvard to study biochemistry. It was tough for her to pick where to go to school. So a lot of you guys, it was tough to pick because you got in lots of wonderful places. So there she is. I believe, if I'm right, she's standing on the Harvard campus. And I said, give me a favorite memory or a quote. And she said, just keep swimming. And boy, howdy, isn't that true this year? Just keep swimming. And that is what she always does. Amazing woman. Caleb, my friend Caleb, in my room after school, he was part of the after school crew that would be there all the time, working on something for Science Olympiad, just hanging out. Caleb has a heart of gold. Absolutely brilliant kid. Asked incredibly creative chemistry questions. And a fantastic musician on top of it. Look at him doing this. What is he doing? He's flying. What is he doing on that little baby pad there? It's so cute. Look at that. He's going to UT Texas in Dallas. He's going to do computer engineering without a doubt. The type of stuff that I know that Caleb has worked on independently during the pandemic, a number of different apps. He's done just incredible things. So computer engineering is where it's at for Caleb. And his favorite memory was hanging out in my room after school most days. And that is very true. We had wonderful times doing that. And look at that handsome picture there. Next up, I'm telling you, I had a huge bunch of kids, right? Huge bunch of kids. Samuel Liu. Samuel would quietly, in the midst of the chaos in my room, would quietly just learn everything and just process information unbelievably well. He had a tremendously good senior project. Was one of the grand prize winners at the Kansas City Science and Engineering Fair. He was looking at differentiation with dental pulp cells, kind of like stem cells. Well, they were stem cells, but in teeth. So they just an incredible amount of work on his senior project, really high level work. He's going also to USC and he's going to study molecular biology. Samuel is one brilliant guy, one brilliant kid. He's going to have a wonderful future. I know that he's talked about being a full-time researcher, and I think he would be wonderful at that, spending his life in academic research. Favorite DS memory, distilled water fights and burning stuff. And there he is burning some stuff right there. That was something, you know, fun times in our lab in the before world, and it'll come back. Pandemics do not last forever. So Samuel, you are also going to have wonderful weather. Amazing, amazing. So congrats on getting into USC. Round of applause. Okay. This guy, Amrith, this kid. This is the kid that I knew of. He's the short Indian guy that plays a violin in tennis, and he always had bags as a freshman that were bigger than he was. And I would see him last minute running through the blue room headed to orchestra. That is my first memory of Amrith. Last spring, oh my dear Lord, I must have gotten 45 questions texted or called to me a day from Amrith as he was studying. This guy went from the little kid carrying really big bags to an amazing young man. Absolutely amazing. Look at that face. Holy cow. This is now where I thought he was going to go to school. I thought he was going to be off to Virginia. He's going to Cornell. I'm going to do information science. I spent a lot of time with Amrith last spring, and when he walked in the room, first time I saw him this year, walked in the room, I just wanted to cry and hug him. So there he is now. He's taller than me, and it happened like overnight from when I didn't see him. His favorite DS memory, the end of the year picnic freshman year, and also doing chromatography labs junior year. I remember that particular picnic. It was really, really fun. That was an awesome picnic day. Amrith, I will forever remember all of your amazing questions. Awesome. Tasman being the younger sister of Harvin, I met Tasman before she was ever a DS kid, and Tasman was a fantastic Faraday kid. Someone that knows how to negotiate. She can negotiate. Let's not do this way. Let's do it this way. She always has a unique way of looking at things. And look at this. Look at that face. Now, I cropped the picture to make it a little bit smaller. She's sitting in front of like a gnome hut. So I want to know why this picture was taken there, which was just absolutely hilarious. Also going to Cornell. This is crazy. I've got 2 kids going to Berkeley, 2 kids going to USC, and 2 kids going to Cornell. That doesn't happen. So she's headed to Cornell to do chemical engineering. I think she's just going to give Amrith trouble because he's also going to be there. Her favorite DS memory, yes, not finishing their organic chemistry homework because they distracted me so much, got me talking about probably pharmaceuticals and some neat connection and some neat story behind something. But that is a super great picture taken by one of our current DS kids. Isabel took that picture, I do believe. So Tasman, hugely, I'm going to miss you. Round of applause for Tasman. Okay, Austin Shoemaker. I think Austin is a nephew to me that I didn't know. Austin feels a lot like a member of my family. Also in my room constantly after school, between classes. I've talked to him so much during the pandemic about school, about his senior research. Talked to his parents a lot about a variety of things. This is somebody that literally just lived out of my classroom before the pandemic. And yeah, we all want last year back, but look at this little guy. Now, I gotta say, that picture of Cave, holy cow, what happened to you, Austin? That freshman picture to now is ridiculous. He's off to Georgia Tech. We've had a lot of conversations about what he wants to do. He knows he doesn't want to do chemical engineering. He went and did a shadow there. And sometimes finding out what you don't want to do is as important as finding out what you do want to do. He wants to do something with material science. And as of our conversation today, basically just never stop going to school because Austin loves to learn things. So there he is now. Favorite DS memory, going to Union Station for Battle of the Brains ceremony, getting to run around Science City afterwards. It was a spectacular day. And nylon day. Yeah, we made nylon in the lab. That was pretty cool too. So Austin, he's off to Georgia Tech, and I'm sure that graduation won't be the last time I see him. I got to give him a hug today. He is 2 weeks. He's vaccinated and fully vaxxed in 2 weeks. So I gave Austin a big hug today. Gave one to Amrith too. Anjani, oh my gosh. I met Anjani, her freshman year. And I remember there just being lots of stuff with Anjani all the time. Lots of bags and stuff always going on, and always had great questions and asked questions that I thought, where is this kid coming from? And then I got the backside of the story and I was like, oh, that's a really interesting question. So she had her senior project was really cool. She was looking at different types of silica on keeping insects out of paddy rice. And the whole saga came about after looking at doing some things with milling science at a camp at K-State. So really interesting project. Look at that face. Isn't that adorable? She's going to KU to study biology. And she's been online remote all year. So I have not got to be around Anjani at all yet, but I will at graduation. And her favorite DS memory, again, that day at Science City with Battle of the Brains. It was incredibly fun. She worked really hard on that project with us. So that was awesome. All right, my last one. Gary did not send in his stuff for this presentation. Gary has been remote all year. If you see him on his camera, he looks like he is in a radio station. He's got this incredible like boom mic and all of his computers all over the place, and he wears his headset. He looks like Howard Stern. It's hilarious. So that's how I've seen Gary this year. And he didn't send in his stuff. So I do know where he's going to school. I do know what he's doing based on his senior project. Okay. So he did not send in this picture. If you've seen the movie The Blind Side, they didn't have a picture of the main character in that movie. They didn't have a baby picture. So I Googled handsome Sikh baby, and this is what came up. So this is Gary as a child. No, it's not. But he's going to University of Kansas to study computer science. His senior project was on building a bot to buy computer parts. So he hijacked his own, he needed computer parts. So he used his senior project as a way to get the computer parts, which I thought was pretty ingenious. That's his student view photo. And I don't know what his favorite memory is. Probably building his computer with his senior, doing something with his computer. So with that, those are my DS science kids. And I am just incredibly proud of those guys. And I had so much fun with you guys. You were an amazing class, an absolute amazing class. Round of applause. Love you guys.
Okay. And last but not least, we are on to visual arts. Okay. Before I introduce them, I just wanted to thank all of the seniors for having extraordinary perseverance and grit, because this year was a year like no other. And you guys handled everything with adaptability and flexibility. And I'm super proud. And I know that all of you are going to do awesome things, no matter what you decide to do in the future. First up, we have Niall Banks. We were really glad to adopt Niall into the program because he came to us just this year. We didn't get to have him in DSVA earlier years. He's a very busy guy. He's in sports med and he also plays a lot of baseball. But I'm glad he figured out that he is a fantastic artist And I'm so happy that we got to adopt him into DSVA. He's been a great asset for us. And it's been really fun to see his skills grow and to watch him continue making awesome art. And even though we didn't get to have him in DSVA very long, I'm super glad that he got to join us. So thanks a lot for being awesome, Niall. He's headed to Southern University, and his majors are going to be agricultural economics and baseball. His favorite memory of DS is painting in the DSVA room and getting to hang out in his own studio space, making it as messy as he wants. And his favorite quote is, "Live life while you are young." I forgot to say, if you hear strange whistling behind me, I am bird sitting an African gray parrot whose 30th birthday is today, and she's trying to get my attention. So if you hear ridiculous amounts of whistling behind me, that's why. Okay, second up, we have Michelle Chen. Michelle has been a great person to have in DSVA since the very beginning. She's super quiet. She's a great leader, and she always sets a wonderful example. I think she is a phenomenal artist. She's a great photographer, and it's been really wonderful to have her in DSVA. She's super conscientious, great attention to detail, and I can always expect her to give 100%. She has a keen eye for color, and I've really been impressed with her latest compositions of her colored pencil drawings. They're great. And I know it's really difficult to layer as many things to get realistic looking drawings, but she's done an awesome job and her skills have really advanced. I truly appreciate her hard work, and I've really loved getting to see her artistic skills blossom and grow. Michelle, thanks for being super awesome. She's headed to the University of Kansas. She's going to study computer science. Look at that adorable face. And one of her favorite memories, all the field trips. Michelle, I'm with you. Those are my favorite days too. And I hope that we can have one last DSVA studio field trip this summer, possibly. So maybe all the field trips aren't gone. We'll see. Next up, we have Miss Alice. Miss Alice always has an infectious smile when she comes into the room, and she's just super positive. She's really pleasant to have in the classroom. And even this year as a remote student, it's been wonderful to have her online because she's always giving me emojis when everybody else is just low energy. I can always count on Alice to come in and give me a thumbs up or answer the questions that I'm asking. And I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful to see all of the things that she creates. No matter what material we are using, she dives right in. She's a fantastic collage artist. She knits, she can draw, she paints, whatever material is in front of her, she just dabbles in it. And her work always tends to come out fantastic. We're sure going to miss her smile and her energy in the DSVA room. And Alice, thanks for being awesome. She's headed to JCCC. Doesn't know what she's going to do yet, but I have no doubt that whatever she picks, she's going to be amazing. And her favorite memory was hanging out in the VA room with her friends every day. And we sure have missed seeing you. And anytime you want to come back and visit, we'll welcome you back. Next up, we have Miss Sarah. I would say Sarah is an incredibly talented artist and just an all-around wonderful human. She's very mature. I think she's super ready for college. And I can't wait to see the awesome things that she creates. Every project that she gets, she approaches it with an open mind, and she finds great ways to creatively solve whatever problem we're working on. I think she always pushes herself really hard. And even if I assign one thing, she might turn in 10 things that are all amazing. She's super talented, and she has created a huge body of work during her high school career, so much so that she's already done with her AP portfolio. And I know that she could probably create another one from what she has left. So it's amazing. I'm super proud of her, and I can't wait to see the awesome art that she makes in the future. Miss Sarah, thanks for being awesome. She's headed to the Kansas City Art Institute. She's going to study illustration, which will be a fabulous fit. Her favorite DS memory? Oh, she would not have pursued art or thought this would be her future without DSVA. Well, you are a fantastic artist, Miss Sarah, and I can't wait to see the masterpieces you create. Thanks for being such a great student. You're easy to support. Next up, we have Miss Sarah. Oh boy, there we go. I think Miss Sarah Montes is a wonderful asset to the VA program. She's super talented. It seems like she's involved in everything that you can possibly be involved with at school. And she always gives 100% to everything she does. I know she's done yearbook. She's done just everything. She's always involved, and she's a great leader. No matter what she's doing, if it's art related or not art related, she's an asset to whatever she's working on. And I think it's fantastic. Her artwork is great. She's grown in so many different ways. We've missed having her in the classroom, but even remotely, I've been super proud of the things she's worked so hard on, and we've missed her. Can't wait to see the awesome things that she does. And Sarah, thanks for being such a wonderful student. She's headed to KU. Excellent. And she's going to architecture. So Miss Sarah, maybe you'll have to sneak down to ceramics and take a class from me again there. That would be awesome. Her favorite memory is when everyone collectively reminded her to throw out her applesauce, which she did nearly towards the end of the year. It seems like every lunch comes with an applesauce, and somehow we ended up with like 50 applesauces in the DSVA refrigerator. And I think the culprit was Miss Sarah. It was hilarious. Thanks for being awesome, Sarah. Next up, Miss Trisha. Trisha has always been pretty quiet in the DSVA room, but her art has a very large presence because no matter what she does, it turns out fantastic. The first thing that pops into my mind is her dry point etching that she did last year. It was totally gorgeous and amazing. Her talent always shines brightly no matter what she's working on. She works super hard. Her hard work and work ethic totally shine through in the final products of whatever she's doing. She's a great communicator. She's very kind. And no matter where her future adventures take her, I have absolutely no doubt that she will succeed because she's determined and an all-around fantastic human being. Miss Trisha, thanks for being super awesome. She's going to study chemistry. I don't think she knows where yet, but chemistry it is, which is great. And that picture is adorable. And her favorite memory is playing telestrations at the beginning of the school year, which is kind of like a drawing version of the game of telephone. So it's really a fun thing to play. I wish we could all sit down and play it again because that was great. And last but not least, we have Miss Megan Navarro. She's been fabulous in DSVA. She's got a keen eye for composition, and her digital drawing skills are off the charts. She is hilarious. She has a great sense of humor. And anytime she's presenting or if she has a comment, she always brightens our day and makes us giggle. Every time she presents, we're laughing about something, and it makes it an entertaining presentation. She's a super talented, creative problem solver. She's a super accomplished artist, and she always dives in with thoughtfulness and attention to detail. I know she spends many, many hours working on things, and it shows through in her final projects and especially in her senior portfolio. Miss Megan, thanks for being super awesome. She's headed to KU. Maybe I'll see you in the ceramics room there. That would be great. And she doesn't know what she's going to major in, but I bet she will figure it out. And whatever she picks will be great. That's a great picture, Miss Megan. And there she is, her favorite quote, God works in mysterious ways to you. I get it though. As usual, her humor is shining through. You guys, I'm going to miss you all. You're amazing. Oh, there's her other quote. There we go. Thanks for being a great class, and you've dealt with all of the chaos in a fantastic way.
All right, so that is going to conclude our evening here for our 19, my goodness, how old am I? Our 2021 senior class here for Distinguished Scholars of the Latham North. Before we conclude the evening, I just want to say to all you seniors out there, first and foremost, if you are with your parent or parents, give them a hug right now and tell them that you love them. If you're not with them, text them and tell them that, or send out a snap face or whatever it is you kids do on this crazy social media stuff, because they have done some crazy, amazing things to give you these opportunities that you guys are going to start pursuing. So I hope you guys realize that. And they had to put up with you all year in the house with this pandemic thing. And I, as a parent, I know how that feels. So make sure you give them a lot of love. Before we go anywhere, I want to say to parents, thank you for giving us an opportunity to have your kids with us for the last 4 years. These are absolutely incredible kids. And I know it's never easy when you're an 8th grade parent, especially if a kid's decided, hey, I want to go to a school that you know nothing about, and giving us a chance. And we are better because of having your kids in our building. So thank you. I can't say that enough. And I know the DS faculty agree with me on that. To seniors, I'm going to reiterate what everybody else has said. What a crazy year you guys have persevered through. And I am so proud of everything that you guys have accomplished. Okay. If you can handle this, you will be fine out there in the world doing what you guys do. You will be successful, because I see it every single day with every single one of you. I also want to tell you that we are severely going to miss you, not just in DS, but Olathe North is going to miss you. You guys have been leaders in our building, and everything that you do, whether it's theater, whether it's sports, whether it's a club or an activity. I don't know how we're going to replace you, but that also means that you guys are more than welcome to come back. If the pandemic stuff changes, you guys can come back anytime and see us, because you are always going to be part of the DS family, regardless of what goes on. And finally, before we cut the night off, we cannot go without saying thank you to Ms. Zonker, because she put this night together. She was the inspiration for the celebration boxes, which I absolutely love. What the ideas that came up. We had a great time putting these things together, and what kind of ideas we could put into them. Ms. Zonker has been the glue that has kind of kept this year together for us. And I'm just going to say it. We couldn't do this without Ms. Zonker. So Ms. Zonker, thank you for what you've done for our kids this year. And with that being said, we have concluded our night. We absolutely, as Ms. Zonker said, it's a bittersweet night, but we absolutely are going to miss every single one of you. And we still have a week left with most of you. So we're going to take advantage of that. So be ready. Okay. And with that, unless there's somebody else that's got something to say, I am going to bid everybody a happy evening and get